A boss, you're only the boss if you put up your own money. If you don't put up your own,
we put up our own money. Huh?
You're only the boss if you put up your own money.
What he's saying is that you have ownership because you got skin in the game.
But he's referring to full ownership. But how many people actually do that though, right? Like, is that even a wise thing to fully put up your own money? And to be fair, he didn't clarify, but a lot of businesses are built with investors,
right,
where there's other people's money involved.
Well,
so
that's what I was gonna say. It's very subjective, in that, because a lot of people would say, "Oh, you shouldn't put up your own money. You should use other people's money to fund your business." Get investors, things like that.
Or maybe his point is that as long as you have the money to put it up, I don't know.
If you don't put up your own money, I don't care how much somebody gives you. You're nothing but a supervisor. It's not yours. So how much money can you get paid to not? There's no money in this world for someone to pay me so they could call me, so I could call them a boss. That's like calling somebody daddy. How can a man call another man? That's my boss.
I like that. I mean, I understand that everyone has a role in this world. Not everybody's meant to be a boss, but I do agree with that perspective that if I'm going to work my ass off, I might as well do it for fucking me.
Homeboy in the bag is looking like,
you know who that is?
He's an actor, right?
No, he's a rapper.
Oh.
He's a rapper. Pop quiz. Who is that?
I have no idea.
Murda Mook.
That's Murda Mook?
It's Murda Mook. But I like his mindset. Is he's aware that, you know, there's owners and there's employers and employees.
Right.
And he'd rather be the employer. But I think it is a little bit disrespectful with
the way he's coming about it.
Yeah, the way he's saying, like, if you're an employee, it's like calling somebody your boss, like calling them daddy. Like,
let's go.
Not necessarily, but
how can a man call another man, yo, that's my boss? We don't do that.
I mean, everybody at some point has to have a boss, right?
No, not in Harlem.
Not in Harlem. Harlem is the only place where they do not have bosses, and they do not call each other bosses.
Okay, put it like this.
Because you're somebody's boss.
No, I'm not somebody's boss. I'm.
He tried to flip it on him.
Someone wasn't your boss. They gave you an opportunity.
Okay.
They gave you some work. Mm-hmm. You go make it, and then you bring it back. You can go buy your own work. You do whatever you want.
It's facts.
That's facts, yeah. You flip, and you get your money.
We've all been in insurance. How many times, personally, if any of my agents on the life insurance side are watching this, like, they call me boss sometimes, or they want to call me, like, you know, these titles that I'm not. I'm like, no, I'm not your boss. I'm just someone giving you an opportunity, giving you work for you to be your own boss. We're partners.
Sell your own work.
Yeah, you sell your own work. You're going to do your own work. We've just helped you with the product.
Right.
And then it's time for you to flip it, like you said.
It's called consignment.
So why this can't be all work? This corporate America, we could be using
you don't
this.
own it.
But I'm telling you,
I'm telling you why. I'm telling you why. Question. Let me ask you a question. Can you give it to your son?
I give what to my son?
Whatever you
shares
working
of this
for.
company, I absolutely positively can.
How?
Right, because I own shares of this company.
You bought them?
Yes.
What I'm saying is, can your son eat? Is this yours to give the whole company
this
to you?
This company is not my son's. No,
exactly.
It's not mine. But I own
wait,
shares
stop.
of this company.
Listen. That's not my question. If your son needs a job here, can you give it to him?
Envy's offended.
Yeah,
Envy's,
100.
Which
and to be honest with you, ever since this right here, Envy turned it up.
What do you mean?
Like he started doing real estate on the side.
But he got caught recently in like some scamming shit.
Right. Did he get taken down for it, bro? Or?
Like what? Like go to jail?
Like, no, like was it official that?
It's been reported he was involved in some scamming shit. So he turned up the illegal shit. Yeah, for sure.
On the side.
No. If your son needs to get some money out the bank from here, some cash flow, can he get it?
Nope.
No.
All right. You don't own this.
But I can take the money from here to invest in myself.
No, it's not yours. I'm not going to fight for something I don't own. Men don't do that. I don't fight for other niggas. I fight for me. I'm not a doula. I'm not going to build somebody else's company and then pick shares so my son can.
He's just clearly built different.
Yeah. His mindset is totally
different. Mindset is just, I'm going to do this for me, self-made. I'm not working for anybody else. You can give me work. Right. There's a lot of pride, confidence in him. But I do feel for Charlemagne and Envy too, though, because, you know, to be clear, I'm sure they work very hard themselves. And Breakfast Club is very famous.
And I'm pretty sure they get paid very well.
And they get paid very good money. But Dame is making an excellent point. You don't own any of that at the end of the day. Like, and there is a difference.
If you want your son to work here, you got to ask somebody.
Or what he just said, cash flow and all that. Like, you really can't.
So my son all that.
See, but I'm not
no,
afraid of
listen,
this company,
listen.
though.
What I'm saying.
But what about taking the money?
You come to work
You
every
took the
day.
money from Def Jam.
I didn't take. Stop. Don't say. You speaking my business and you don't know what you're talking about. I ain't take no money from Def Jam. What you talking
What I mean
about?
take? I mean they cut you a
No,
check.
they didn't cut me a check. We had a formula based on performance, and they calculated it, and we got paid.
That's
and they
us.
stop. That's not us.
That's what we
no,
do.
no. We,
That's too early.
Pause.
I ain't take no money from Def Jam. What you talking
What I mean
about?
take? I mean they cut you a
No,
check.
they didn't cut me a check. We had a formula based on
Well, I like when he
performance,
gets- when he
and
turns
they
up.
calculated and we got paid.
That's
and they
us.
stop. That's not us.
That's what we
No,
doing.
no. We listen. Before we had Rockefeller.
Talking about commissions.
Rockefeller. We put up our own money for Rockefeller.
And it's probably fair that Envy
He's
and
talking about the
Charlemagne
profits, yeah.
don't understand because
Right.
they're not getting paid off of performance probably.
Rockefeller. Right?
Okay.
Then we sold half of it. We became partners. So that means no one gave us anything. We were 50-50 partners. We built something and sold it. That doesn't mean you work for somebody. See, they let you believe that. So then what happened was, based on a formula, you want to know what a formula is? It was profit times a certain number. So if you make this much profit times 7, that's how much your number is.
Okay.
Based on that formula, they bought the rest. That's it. That's not nobody giving me money. I never worked for them. I put up way more money than Def Jam put up. Me, Biggs, and Jay put way more money up into Def Jam. I mean, rather into Rockefeller than Def Jam. All they did was collect our money. What you mean? Why you think Def Jam? First of all, when we were with Def Jam, they were bought by Universal. How you gonna call Def? How you gonna think someone that's bought by someone could be someone's boss? That's my point. You have to understand what you're doing in business because you got to do what's best for your kids. What's best for your kids is to put your money into something. The stress, go through all of it. So when your child becomes a man, he doesn't have to work for nobody.
Right, well, that's the
you
whole
can
thing.
just pass it to him.
Now you talk about
So you're gonna work 20 years in a business or 15 years in a business every day over and over again, and your son can't work here whenever he feel like it. You clowning
Well,
me.
I don't want him to work
But that's
here.
me.
Bro, he's tearing him up. Envy right there in the back, like, I don't want him to work here.
I love his passion. I love the mindset, but he is disrespectful.
You think he's disrespectful?
Yes, I think he. I mean, yes, bro.
I think he's
he
turning
just
up
called
on,
him a clown.
I think he's turning up on them because they were speaking on something that they had no idea about, like on his business. So he broke it down to them.
But then he's being emotional then.
Yeah,
Because
now
if he's
he
trying to,
shouldn't.
if you're saying that he's getting back at them for something they started talking about that they had no business on, he's
No,
just
I'm
being emotional.
saying he corrected them because they were saying, oh, you.
The correction's fine, but he just said if you work 20 years out of business or at a place and you can't pass this on to your kids, you're clowning.
Yeah.
And in other words, he just called all three of them clowns. I just think it's funny, it's strong, but I just think it's unnecessary. Like I think in a real business world, I don't think.
So do you feel Envy should feel some type of way? Because you can hear him in the background, like,
Yeah,
oh,
no,
oh,
they're very defensive, and Envy's gonna try to make his point right now where I could pass this on. I just think that in the business world, you got to know how to move, and so for example,
he's coming from some street shit.
he's coming from some street shit, but Dame makes way more money than I do. He's way more successful than I am, whatever. But I feel like for me, I would have not have handled it that way. Like I'm not gonna put somebody else down.
Right. Well, I think this is what makes Dame though. Dame, this is not the first time he's done some shit like this.
What I'm saying is, in a way, it makes him look a little bit clownish, ironically too, because it's kind of like, damn, you have all that success and wisdom, but you're kind of you're putting them down. You're speaking, you're disrespecting them. I don't think that's cool.
All right.
I mean, I'm not saying you. If you owned it, wait a second.
I'm here because
Time out.
I don't need a check.
That's stupid. You should be. Time out.
Rap because he enjoy it, not because he want a check.
You're wrong.
I'm here because
I like
enjoy
the check.
it.
Wait, time out.
I like
time
the
out.
check.
Time out. You're lying.
At least it's honest.
Yeah.
Before you lose your control,
No,
just
you say
stay
you do your
focused.
like you say, do your
So
homework.
here, listen
Do
to
your
me.
homework. I'm
So-
working because
I think he's being very hypocritical. He's talking about losing control. He lost his control. He called him stupid.
Right.
He's coming on his platform and disrespecting
Yeah, I
him.
think he apologized right now.
So here, listen to me.
I'm
So
working because I enjoy
why don't you
it.
listen?
I'm working for free.
Who could work? Would you ever enjoy being a slave?
I'm not. It's not a slave. This is what I enjoy.
I don't think this is
enjoy
slavery,
DJing.
Dave.
Do you have to come to work
I enjoy
today?
this.
Do you have a
I enjoy
choice? Do you have to ask somebody
I don't
when you have
do
to?
anything.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Or
I
you're
honestly
fired.
Cliff, how do you feel?
I actually I remember listening to this a few
Wow,
years
but
back.
yeah.
This is a famous
like
clip they play in
2016, 17.
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah.
I
Primerica
get,
trainings.
I get where he's coming from, but to each his own. His delivery does come off a bit aggressive, but I feel like he's just trying to express and explain something to him and make his point. But it does come off aggressive and make it seem like the other guy, I forgot what his name is.
Envy, DJ Envy.
DJ Envy is not doing enough for himself and his family.
Right.
So that's extremely offensive.
Okay, and if we think about sales, if we think about negotiating, bro, if I really want to prove a point to you and make you see something that I think is the truth,
right.
If I put you down, you're not gonna listen to me.
Right. But
so I think he's doing.
Our business is different, though.
Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. So the point is, if I want to make you believe something I believe, but I start disrespecting you,
yeah, of course, yeah,
you're never
right.
So I think
clash,
you're gonna clash, but I think personally, I think Dame is doing a horrible job at trying to prove the point.
To persuade him, basically.
Yeah, because you're not going to persuade. You just called him a clown. You just called him stupid. In other words, DJ Envy is never going to really listen to you or like believe you.
But
so
this is what sparked DJ Envy to go into that real estate business.
right.
And start scamming people.
So he actually got persuaded
yeah.
just later on.
Well, we don't know if that's
After
true.
being called a clown and all that, he kind of blew
Oh,
up.
you want to see a clown? All right.
Can somebody tell you you fired?
Don't.
Can somebody tell you you fired? Yes or no?
And be good.
Can another man say you're fired?
Absolutely.
No one can tell me that. And that's priceless to me.
But I'm here because
I don't care. You enjoy having a man be able to tell you
But
It's funny, though.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
I don't
You're being
care.
selfish.
I'm not
Do you
for the
think
check.
your son enjoys you calling somebody else a boss? Don't you think your son would rather wake up with you and you could pick him up from school instead of having to do a 9 to 5? Don't you think
Pause.
that? Yeah.
All right. I want to share something. So Patrick Bet David talks about how we all have our own roles. If you're not going to be the number one guy in a company, he talks about at least be the number 2 or the number 3 guy. And have you heard of this before? I've thought about this, and I think it's a smart thing that he says, because it's like when we talk about Elon Musk, when we talk about Jeff Bezos, who are these other like big ones? Who's the Microsoft guy? Bill Gates. When we talk about Bill, they're the main guys. But they each have the number 2, number 3, that other co-founder guy that no one really talks about him, but they're also multi-billionaires. PBD, Patrick Bet David's point is that, like, you might not actually be the boss or the owner, but if you end up being that number 2 or 3 guy, you're still going to make a lot of money, and then you're still going to have a lot of freedom. And yeah, but I get it. Dame's got a lot of pride in his name, and he's going to get into it. His last name being on there.
Don't you think? Yeah, all right, but don't you have to wake up at 4 in the morning? Don't you think your son would love if his name was up there, Dash or whatever your last name is, instead of somebody else's? My pride is in my children. Like, look what I'm doing right now. Look at my son. I taught my son never to have a boss. He's 23. He owns a restaurant. He has cookies. He has equity. He busts his ass so he can pass it on to his son. If that's not what you hustlers for, you're selfish. You keep saying I'm worried about my kids. You worried about you.
My kids are good.
How they good? Your kids aren't going to be kids.
I feel like I'm in the Def Jam boardroom and
They
backstage.
kids, they're not supposed to work. I'm saying when they men, you're supposed to pass them something. You working for another man.
They're worried about
See, to me, this is what we're talking. See, the other comments.
I feel like I'm in Def Jam boardroom. This is not backstage. Everybody cool out for a second. But Dave, I'm asking you a question. You're a businessman.
Absolutely.
What's wrong with taking the money from here and investing it into other stuff that we own?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Thank you.
Have some cookies.
Everybody eat a cookie.
Everybody chill.
Cool out for a second.
I'm not mad. The mentality is
Shorty's all quiet. I forgot she was in there.
because you're on the radio and this message is
He's
crazy.
let's say.
He said, I'm not mad. I'm
Nothing at all.
Thank you.
Everybody eat a cookie. Cool out for a second.
I'm not mad. The mentality is this. It's frustrating because you're on the radio and this message is crazy to me. You're saying because you enjoy music or being a DJ, you enjoy having a boss. If you enjoy being a DJ, just why don't you own your own radio station and then DJ for your own radio station so your son can just get on anytime he wants? That's all I'm saying.
But it's steps to it, though.
No, there's no steps to it because I do it. See, you enjoy the safety and the security of a job every day. But there's no pride in that to me. My son takes pride. My kids take pride in the fact that I have Dash Motors. And because I have that, my son said, I'm not going to ever have a boss.
I mean, it is facts though. Like it's
that's
clearly why
yeah.
he's this way, and his son. I mean, I can only imagine seeing your own last name.
There's pride. There's pride into it.
You're gonna grow up differently. You're good. I think that pride does so much to you that You work hard to make sure your name stays up there. You're fighting for
His mentality is different.
your legacy.
It's just about changing mentality.
He's right though. The mentality is different. It's clearly different.
Facts.
Like his mentality is totally different from
They all have the opportunity.
a boss every day. So you basically saying because they
And
have a
it goes
boss, there's
beyond
no
the money,
pride.
right?
Yeah. Listen to this right here, because he's saying, oh, so what you're saying is for the people that have a boss every day, they're clowns. I think that's what
They
he's
have a
saying.
boss. There's no pride in that.
I think because people on the radio tell people it's okay to have a boss, they don't understand that they can have more. And because
He's
of
a
direct
savage dog.
consumer relationship, the internet, there's no excuse.
He knows how to argue.
So when I make
He's a
a
good
movie
debater.
like Losada's, I don't have to ask if I could put Daniel in the movie. I just do it. I had to ask if I could put. Wait, hold on. I had to ask if I could put Cameron.
And paid it for.
I don't have to ask no more. You understand? There's pride in that. There's just a pride you should have in ownership. There
So
should
how
not
do you
be
get to
a-
that platform? How do you get to the platform
by
of
putting
the,
your own money up and investing in yourself. That's it. You flip. And getting a good woman and stop trusting dudes and stop worrying about other people's pockets and what other people have and what other people can do for you. And 9 to 5s aren't good because you hustling for a weekend. But when you do something that's for yourself and your family, it never feels like work. I hustle for my last name. I don't hustle for my first.
That's the one right there.
That's the bomb.
Iconic one.
Yeah.
We'll end it on that one.
Yeah, I like that saying.
Oh no, who's this?
Because your last name is what's gonna live on forever. You know, that's what's gonna be passed on to your children. Obviously, if you have a boy, and that's that pride that I feel like he's talking about. Like, yo, the Dash last name gotta live forever. You know, like I built this, but because I built this, now you have this. But it's your job to continue that legacy type of thing going. You know, where you build something, next you know, your kid will build something. So I see where he's coming from with that pride, and I believe that we all should have some type of pride, especially when it comes to our last name. Like me being the only male in the family, there is pride. I do think that way. Like, shit, man, I'm the only one that's gonna be able to pass this last name.
Yeah.
So I got to do something, you know,
Yeah.
for my children in the future, if God, you know, if that's in the plans. But I also see the part, because I've been in both sides, bro. I've been in corporate America. I've been in entrepreneurship. And one of my biggest mistakes that I feel was going into entrepreneurship with not having any stability, you know. And I feel like that ruined me, because if I would have done things the smarter way, where if I would have worked my job, used that money to fund my business, I feel like I wouldn't have gone through a lot of obstacles that I did early in entrepreneurship. You know, because I straight up quit my 9 to 5, not having any stability in business, in the business, and not really knowing how business operates. It was just like, oh shit, yeah, you know what, fuck that. We shouldn't have a boss. And I went straight into it, and it's like, oh shit, like, damn, I didn't make a sale this week. Fuck, damn, I got bills I still gotta pay. But so I remember seeing this video, you know, later in the years. When I first saw it, obviously I was excited. Yeah, fuck that.
Right.
But later on, I'm like, nah, you know what, man? If you do got a job, use that money to fund whatever your vision or your dreams are. You know, if you want to fund a business, but you don't got the capital to do it, and if you don't want to take out any loans and owe the bank or all this shit, use the little money that you're making, keep your expenses low, but use that to fund your business. So that's what I kind of preach now to these youngsters that I want to start a business, and you know, they're in between, like, oh, should I leave my job? Should I not leave my job? Because back then I was like, yeah, fuck your job, leave that shit. But after learning through my experiences and what I went through, you know, I kind of advise, hey, you know what, man, do you got money saved? No? Okay, then no, you still need this job. Work, make your money, keep your expenses low. Don't be blowing what you make, but also take the percentage of that and fund your business until you start generating income in your business where you're able to replace that, what you're making. And if that could cover your bills, then by all means, you know, it's that means it's time for you to leave that job.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with what Dash is saying, that you lose your pride if you have a job. Like, nah, man, there's still pride.
Well, for someone like him, he would, right? Because of how he's built.
Right.
But like you said, you've been at both worlds, corporate and business. He hasn't. All he knows is business.
The streets.
So he's gonna hate.
Flipping.
I will say that I do think he's lying. I think Charlemagne I can't say I like Charlemagne a whole lot, but when Charlemagne said that, don't people call you a boss? He has to.
Yeah.
He has to have, if you've got a company, like, you know, unless it's, like even, you know, even in our insurance, like is the CEO of our brokerage, is he our boss? Technically, no. But
we're independent contract.
But he's got people at corporate
that he pays as employees.
So there's no, how do you have a business with no employees?
Right.
How do you have a business with no?
I doubt they're independent contractors.
Right. So if he's in the whatever he's in, or if his son has a restaurant, you have employees. You have a waiter. They're not all self-employed. So I think one, he's lying. Two, for the record, I like his mindset and I like his passion behind it, and I do agree with a lot of it. Again, my issue is just his delivery. I think him being disrespectful to call people that are working. So what? Does that make my family a family of clowns? You know, people that work there.
I think the way to go about it was be like, okay, that's dope. You got this job. This is what you've been doing. You got company stock, but do you have any other like ambitions outside of this?
Sure.
Are you? Because I don't even feel like he gave DJ Envy the chance to be like, oh, well, you know what? I do this on the side.
Well, they tried to. Like, Charlemagne was like, well, what's wrong with me getting the money here and putting it as an investor? And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nah, not at all.
He's just very. What Dame Dash is very one-sided. I feel like an argument with him wouldn't. It's not good.
It's gonna be his way.
He's not gonna hear you out, type of deal.
Yeah, but no, man. I mean,
but he's smart.
It's all subjective as well because it's funny, man. It reminds me of this story, bro, and we'll end this here where it's about this guy. It's a true story where he went to prison. I don't know for what, but he did his time. And when he came out, obviously as a felon, it's very difficult to get a job somewhere, you know, because of your record. But his testimony is because of that, and he's grateful for that he wasn't able to get a job because that's what led him into entrepreneurship and starting his business. And now, you know, his business grew, whatever. I forgot what type of business it is. But some people don't have a choice, you know, like some people don't have that privilege of getting a good job is what I'm trying to say. So sometimes some people are forced into entrepreneurship and that's really all they got, and they gotta fucking go through the mud and go through everything and, you know, make it happen. But that's all we know. We don't know like the back scenes of things, if somebody loaned them money, things like that. But if you're in that right now where you're like, man, I'm working my job and I'm tired of it, I want to start something, I want to be free and all that, well, you know, little by little, get an idea, get a business idea, and start doing it, and start funding your business with your income. That would be my advice. Yeah, and eventually put some goals down and replace your income.
You wanna closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's interesting, and I think
I like him.
He's a really great salesman, and I think that's exactly. Through and through, he's a salesman, and I think he understands that, especially during that time. That happened a while ago. He understands that drama sells more tickets than, you know, being peace, being cool, calm, and collective. And he understands that. That's true. And let's be honest, like, you know, during wartime, you make way more money than during times of peace. You know what I'm saying? So y'all get
negativity sells all that.
Yeah,
shit.
so I feel like he's a salesman, and he could have delivered that a lot better and help people understand exactly what he wanted to address, because I've seen him in other interviews where his delivery was very like calm, straightforward, and you received it. So I was like, man, there's a reason for him to do that.
It's probably what you said. It's probably they said some shit he didn't like, which it sounds like we played a little. Yeah, it probably triggered him.
So they're speaking about his business. I think. Again, being prideful.
So he got hot.
He definitely has a lot of pride behind his words, but I feel like he understands, and he's definitely selling tickets because.
But it's crazy. It's crazy.
He's entertaining.
We paying for the Dame Dash show. You feel me?
Yeah, exactly.
So it is what it is.
In other interviews I've seen, and I've got to understand him more. Growing up, his mom passed away at a very young age. His dad wasn't in the picture, so I believe at the age of 13, he was already in the street selling drugs, where he was already making like over $150K a year as a kid. Where he pulled up to his high school, I believe, in a Mercedes Benz, and he parked in the principal's fucking parking, and he got expelled from school for that. But he goes on to say that it was difficult for him to go to school and listen to a teacher when he was making more money than the teacher as a fucking teenager.
Sure.
So that's where that pride and that mindset, I believe, comes from, you know, and also having to figure it out on his own at a very young age. So there's a lot of variables to it.
Yeah.
But for sure.
Cool.
We out, fam. Much love.